So lately, Houston has been struggling, and OKC has been thriving. Walker, what do you think this means for the rest of the NBA?
Well, Rockets have lost 5 of their last 6, and their only win has been against the Lonzo-less Lakers in double overtime.
Oh, so you do admit that Lonzo's a big impact on the Lakers?
I didn't say that. I'm just saying.
Caught you
Lonzo
with your
wasn't
dick in
there.
a foxhole. Yeah.
Kyle Kuzma, I believe, had
I don't know.
38, almost 40.
38.
My sixth man of the year, Jordan Clarkson, I believe, had 25 or 28. Big game from him.
Man, it's not hot.
But getting off to Lonzo, getting back to the Rockets, I believe it's not. I'm not gonna say we should worry about the Rockets and that they're gonna drop off to like the 4-5 seed, but I think it is a little caution because Chris Paul and Harden, even though they've played well together, what were they? They started out 14-0.
14-0.
14-0 as teammates playing on the same, playing the same game. But Chris Paul is always hurt. He's always been hurt, even back with the Clippers. That's why they can never win playoff series because Chris Paul was always hurt in those. And Blake Griffin. And how James Harden is hurt. He's actually out for the next 2 weeks with a hamstring injury. I'm not sure the extent of it.
It's a stage 2. It's
Stage
stage 2 hamstring.
Is it cancer?
So they're going back and forth. They're taking turns on who wants to be injured for the season. But like I said, I wouldn't be too worried with the Rockets falling off. I believe they're going to sit there at the 2, and the Spurs will just coast to the 3. And on to OKC and their rise. They're finally figuring out how to play with each other.
Damn straight.
I think somehow Hoodie Mello is wearing actually a hoodie. It's invisible. We can't see it. I think that's why he's picking up his game right now. But I believe the big reason is they're letting Russ do what he did last year. They're letting him just do whatever he wants. They're letting him make the right plays. They're not just saying, let's slow it down. Let's try and get Paul George and Carmelo Anthony involved in the game. They're going back to what they did last year with just having Russ. They're saying, Russ, take it to the hole. If you have the layup, dunk, take it. If not, kick it out to your shooters. You got better shooters this year. Exactly. And we're finally seeing that happen. Exactly. And they're getting things together. And Billy Donovan, I think, is stepping up his game and being actually a coach of this team. So I think OKC will just stick around the 4-5 seed. I don't think they'll go much higher than that. But they're actually figuring it out. And they could contest the Warriors in the West.
We'll see.
Kind of like a little. He hinted on a little bit. I don't think Houston's really having a downfall here. I just think it's the wave of the season, just how it's going. There's ups and downs. Like they shoot a lot of threes, and I mean a shooting team like that, like they get on a couple games. Which I'm not saying like this is an excuse. This could be the downfall of you in playoffs also. I mean they don't hit their threes for a couple games. They're gonna go on some losing streaks. Like it's just how the NBA goes. It's a long season. Like when it's like what we say about the Cavs when they have LeBron. It doesn't matter what seed they go in as the playoffs. They're gonna beat whoever they want to beat. And I think as long as the Houston Rockets could avoid an early matchup versus the Warriors, no matter where they seed, they're gonna be fine. Harden's out for what did you say 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
They'll drop a couple games. Not a big deal. It's early January. I mean it's obviously it's not October anymore. Like you have some worries if you're under the 500 mark here, you got some things to worry about. I mean, but the Rockets are sitting at 26-9, 2 weeks without Harden. They'll be fine. Like, I'm not really worried about them. They'll finish in the West, I think, as the second seed. Like I don't see them. Maybe they drop while Harden's hurt. Maybe they have like their losing streaks, but they will find their way back up by the end of the season to at least the third straight seed, and I think they'll be the second seed. As far as OKC goes, kind of also he was saying. They've figured it out almost. People have been saying it all year, though. It just took them a little longer as a franchise to figure out what they need to do. They need to have Russ in the driver's seat. He's the best player on the team. You can say what you want about Melo. He's an excellent player. He's very decorated, best Olympic basketball player of all time, you want to say it. But I think they finally got it figured out. Russ has taken the majority of the offense on his back. He's back to what he was last year. Melo is scoring a lot in ISO situations when they need him to. Like, his shots have significantly cut down. I think they need him to be efficient. I think they need him to take
Your cock.
I think they need to take advantage of mismatches throughout the game. He's a great ISO player when he needs to. And actually, something I don't know if you guys watched a lot of Thunder games. Something I noticed this year, his defense has improved drastically.
He started working on that last year. I think it's even gotten better this year.
As a team, I mean, Russ is playing better defense. Paul George has always been a good defender. He's staying to it. And I haven't even touched on Paul George yet. The amount of threes he's taken this year is insane. It has to be substantially larger than his career high in threes taken per game. And that's what he's doing. Like, he's giving Russ another player to shoot. And kind of the unsung warrior of the Thunder has and always will be Steven Adams. He's really stepping into himself. He's a star in this league. He can rebound. He's really expanded his offense. I mean, as far as a fourth option goes, I mean, he's one of the best fourth options you're going to see in the league. Okay? And Andre Robertson, you can say...
Ass.
He is ass, but he plays... Dude, come on.
He plays good defense. He does.
Good. Fantastic defense.
He plays fantastic defense, but on offense,
you know that
buns.
he's a liability. But I mean, they've figured it out. Like they have figured it out. Billy Donovan, I knew it would. It's just like any other team. When the Cavs struggled a little bit earlier this year, like they're gonna struggle early. I mean, it's no different than any other team. These are three players who always wanted the ball. They always wanted the ball. No shit, it was gonna take a while to figure it out.
I'm going first.
All right, fuck you. Fuck your opinion, Dave.
So,
straight up, I guess.
No, I agree with a lot of what Dustin said there. I've never heard of us talk. I don't know why we are, but like a lot of people are talking about Houston declining. I've never seen a team decline to a 26-9 record, second place in the Western Conference, which is the better. To me, they haven't declined at all. They've just settled into where they're going to be. They are the second best team in the West, and that's where they're gonna stay. They are they're better than San Antonio, better than Minnesota, better than Oklahoma. They are better.
And they have played tough games lately too.
They're such a game. Yeah, they have been 5-5 last game. Walker goes on taking pictures. I'm gonna break your phone. But they've been doing fine. And like was saying that earlier, Chris Paul has been hurt these past couple of games, and now James Harden's gonna be hurt for a little bit. But Houston's fine. They're gonna stay the 2 seed. Everything's fine. Like I said, they're settling back into their role. And but it's also Golden State's been playing a little bit better too. Like Golden State's 8-2 in the last 10 games. Of course, they're gonna jump in front of them. That's what that is too. As far as OKC, again, I agree with what was being said earlier. It is a rise because of how they were. For starting they weren't in the playoff.
Yeah, I mean, they had a lot.
But obviously, so it is a rise. But I do think they are now settled at where they're going to be. I think they are the 4-5 seed. Not really a threat to anybody, but they are 7-3 in their last 10 games. However, you see they are settling back down again because they just lost the last 2 in a row.
2 in a row, yeah.
So it is getting to the point. Again, I think they are a middle of the pack Western Conference team, which is still good, but I think they're just evening things out there. I will say one good thing with OKC, they have a 14-6 record at home. That's always good to see, and that's a good thing come playoff time.
Yeah, Chesapeake's a good place to play.
So do you think? Yeah. So you think they'll stay?
I think Oklahoma City is a 4-5 seed. I personally think they're going to be the 4 seed. I think they, so. Well, I think
it doesn't matter in a 4-5.
Who has 3?
What's that?
Spurs.
Well, the home court.
Spurs. Yeah. No, Spurs are broccoli. They'll always be in the top 3, and for me,
broccoli.
Spurs have been 3 with LaMarcus Aldridge carrying away the team, and Leonard's played.
I don't think that was
like 5 games.
How do you think they'll do in the playoffs?
Oklahoma City. It just depends on if they're
kind of early to tell.
Yeah, it is early to tell, but I think it just depends on if they stick to a game plan.
Oh, here's a big question. Do you think they'll make a move come the trade deadline to?
If things don't, well, I see. Yeah, I don't know.
I can see them wheeling dealing PG.
I'm not even saying that like a smaller deal, just to bring some depth to the bench. Like I'm not saying PG leaves. I'm not saying Melo gets.
I
don't know who they need.
Jordan Clarkson, calling it.
Jordan Clarkson will be off the Lakers for the season's over, unfortunately.
That'd be a fantastic pickup for.
That'd be sensational for them. They could bench.
They'd probably trade.
Could they have the cap space for him?
I don't think he's.
Yeah, he's probably doesn't get paid that much.
I mean, the Thunder had a lot of money with us for him.
True.
Yeah, like everyone's been saying, I think the Rockets are just in a little bit of a slump. Like you said, Harden's going to be out for a couple games. I mean, they'll probably drop a couple games, obviously, without their primary scorer. I mean, he's pretty much the heart and soul of the team, I say. But Chris Paul definitely has the potential, obviously. He's going to be a future Hall of Famer. I mean, he could probably carry the team through it a little bit. I mean, really, I think they'll just kind of float around what they're at now in the West. And when it comes to the Thunder, like Dustin said, I think Steven Adams is actually probably one of the bigger factors of the little win streak they've been on. Well, not the win streak they've been on, but the better play. And really, I mean, they're 20-17, and most of the games they lose, really, maybe not most, but they lose a lot of close games, which, I mean, that does kind of say a lot about the teams. You got to finish when it comes down to late in the game, and you got to execute, and lately they haven't been able to do that. And even a couple times last season, they haven't really been able to do that. I mean, Russ hit some big shots, but other than that, they don't really execute well down the stretch.
Well, it's a power struggle almost.
Yeah, I think it's been a power struggle. And Melo, I saw Bleacher Report put up a post about Melo saying that he wants to fill in that role. He kind of has learned his place on the team. He's not on the Knicks anymore, which is phenomenal.
It's phenomenal because he had the most and
he without a doubt
he had the hardest role to set up.
Yes.
He went from being like the superstar to just being
another guy on the team. Yeah.
I mean,
he's kind of like Dwayne Wade now.
He is like Dwayne Wade.
He starts. He's like the Dwayne Wade. No,
he's a future Hall of Famer, and he's really. This shows how mature he is as a player and as a person, being able to come into a team like the Thunder with mostly young guys. Still, I mean, they're getting a little bit older, but they're still pretty young. He's definitely a great veteran to have on the team, obviously, and. PG's been really efficient, I think, over the last couple of games. He's been filling in his role nicely. A great defensive player, great shooter, can take it to the rack when he needs to. And Russ is being Russ. I mean, putting up numbers like he was last year. I really do think the Thunder can be a problematic team in the West for a lot of the top teams. The Spurs, I mean, I always like watching the Thunder and the Spurs play. They're usually pretty good games for the most part.
And it takes a lot to make a Spurs game interesting to watch.
Yeah. The dinosaurs.
I think if the Thunder could really bunker down on defense, they're dangerous.
Yeah, if they get the ball movement going, and
I'd say PG and Robertson are both elite defenders.
What the Thunder does have
Russ has.
I don't know.
But the Thunder has one of the most efficient defenses in the league as far as
and you wouldn't think that. Looking at
points per game.
At the start of the season, you would have said, they're going to go off on offense. They got 3 scores.
But even Steven Adams is a very good rim protector.
Yeah.
No,
he's a big body inside. He likes to get physical.
Yeah.
He really does do great. I like losing Cantor actually at the beginning of the season. As much as a heartbreak that was, I thought that was going to hurt the team a lot. Just because, I mean, he was great scoring off the bench when he came off the bench. When he started, he still produced. And my biggest fear for them is they have no big man scoring. Kinda, I want to say that. I mean, if you count PG as what he's playing, I don't really count him as a big man. But Steven Adams has stepped up big. I thought Cantor was going to cause a couple problems, but, I mean, they're filling in the roles nicely, and I think they're going to be a problematic team. But all in all, I don't think anything really matters. I mean, the Warriors are still probably going to run away with it, I think. They absolutely killed the league. Fuck the Warriors.
Well, geez, Dave, why don't we just cancel our shows talk about the NBA for the rest of the season?
Might as well.
I got one more thing about Houston. If you want to know what their problem is, go watch the last 7 minutes. Even less, the last 4 minutes of the Boston Celtics Houston game. James Harden, ill-advised shots. Looking like me out there in the ending of the game.
We will be showing
footage
of him in a room so y'all can see that.
But that had to be...
He throws them up.
That had to be
Give him a bucket. He's throwing up.
I just felt like they were just like the whole team was like, here, you have to win this game.
Yeah.
And that's what it looked like.
He said, nah, I don't want to win this game.
And I mean, he is that player.
Chris Paul is. I trust Chris Paul down the stretch.
He is to put the team on the back kind of player, but I mean, like that's a lot.
He doesn't have to do it.
Shots
anymore.
were one
he doesn't
thing,
have to do that anymore.
But getting 2 straight offensive fouls
on Marcus Smart.
It's a flopper.
Still,
granted,
the first one was he pushed off on the first one.
I put that on the refs, though. I'm sorry. You know who Marcus Smart is.
The one was a foul.
The first one, the second one,
they're both close enough.
That first one, I think could go either way. Like I think it's a foul, but because of Marcus Smart, I probably.
But if you're in James Harden's shoes, you know that second one, you're getting looked at even
but
harder.
He really didn't do it. Like,
I'm just saying.
No.
I'm just saying. You know the
but
ref,
it's close enough down the stretch.
Target.
You won't be.
Well, when you call that first one and you see it again. Then you're hearing Brad Stevens on your back.
Yeah.
What was different about that one?
Yeah.
So I mean, he fucked the first one.
So you had to fuck the second one.
I don't know.
He botched it.
You know, I always say NBA referees. I think they're some of the best refs in the world. as far as like different college football
Hey.
or whatever.
Oh,
Well, you
fucking
look at
NFL.
NFL this year.
This season has been a little rough for the NBA. I'm not gonna lie.
It's because the stars aren't getting the treatment that they're used to. I think that's the big part.
They
That's
bunkered
the big
down
part.
some of the rule changes,
Which I think
which
is
good.
better. Yeah,
which is good.
bring it back to
but
the
there
old
there
days.
has been some games where some games
Yeah.
were decided late that from foul
We just gotta
calls were
think.
bad.
We let the NBA teams slip when they're in a slump. The refs are just in a slump right now.
Okay,
So
let's see if they can turn around come All-Star
Yes.
break and see how it goes.
maybe they just need the All-Star break to get readjusted.
Well, I was reading an article that was saying how it was some of the top 10 games that people were angry about this year as far as refereeing officiating. That was one of them. And
The Sixers game?
There was a Sixers game
Yeah.
on there, and then the Cavs Warriors Christmas Day game. It said I forget what percent. It was a high percentage though of the refs in those games. You're not going to see come playoff time because they don't let them into playoffs. So the league realizes that the league is good at seeing if a ref does well, and
I think it's the best officiated
Sport,
You
yeah.
don't hear
Still
much
is.
about
Still
the
is.
MLB. So
Yeah.
There's some bad umps. There's some bad umps in the MLB.
They always say
At
though,
the same time,
the regular
it's the
season
hardest
is
sport
Yeah.
to referee.
Yeah.
But again, no one watches baseball.
Another question: who do you think will give the Warriors more problems come down the stretch? The Thunder or the Rockets?
The
The
Rockets.
Cavs. I don't.
Alright, well,
I think the Rockets are the only team that could win that three battle with them.
Exactly. And
But-
even though the
but-
Rockets are doing more threes, and I hear that, but still, when you're against Golden State, I think it's all about
You can't
the
scoring
only
in
chance they
bunches,
have
scoring in
is
bunches.
going off.
Yeah.
The only chance they have.
My argument to that though is you can't beat Golden State at their own game.
But-
That's how I look at it.
And I agree with that,
you
but
can't.
remember, the Rockets have the same game though.
Who perfects it better though?
Well, the Rockets.
But
did more
if
threes.
they can
more
keep
threes.
it close enough, I don't know
See,
how.
I'm not even saying this biasly. I do kind of think the Thunder can give the Warriors a run for their money.
Well, I think they should. 'Cause-
Yeah, they have three
The storyline.
future Hall of Famers. I'm going to skip past All-Star. I think everyone can agree that they're three future Hall of Famers.
100%.
Four maybe.
Who knows the fourth?
Big question mark for Steven Adams. Who knows what he's going to be?
Steven Adams, no.
No.
I mean, maybe.
No.
Best hair. I don't know. But
best mustache and hair.
damn straight best
And
mustache.
the best Halloween costume I've ever seen a couple years back with the Joker nurse costume. Fan-fucking-tastic.
I am a Steven Adams fan. I am, but I do think the Thunder can give them a run for their money, just because the pure scoring potential of Westbrook, Melo, and PG is. That can be a scary trio, especially if come playoff time they have their shit together. That can be a scary bunch, and if Steven Adams can contest the rim, you'd be going up against fucking JaVale McGee.
Yeah.
But
No,
don't sleep on JaVale.
I agree. I saw that apparently is chatter JaVale being moved up
To the Bucks.
Yeah.
To the Bucks.
The Bucks
That'd
actually
be
wanted
the
Jordan
lankiest
Bell.
fucking team I've
I
ever
know,
seen in my
right?
life.
They wanted Jordan Bell, the Bucks, but Golden State said fuck no, and
Like
so
Golden State somehow with horrible picks, or they traded for him obviously, but Golden State is able to keep getting good rookies.
Hey, JaVale did his thing
that's
for the
because the
Warriors.
owner likes.
I think he
He's not afraid to use the money that they got. They go out and get the players they want.
They
It's not like the Cavs.
Yeah, no.
LeBron's got to beg his owners
They-
to fucking pay.
Golden State's a very good owner and GM system there.
All right, I think that
Go for that one.
wraps it up.